Recording in progress.
Welcome to the Bravo Rundown, where we discuss the hot topics of Bravo, all the Reddit theories, we're listening to all the podcasts, we're watching all the shows, and we're really inundated with all the news. I am joined by my fabulous co-host, Sonia Weber, Bravo, Bravo, Books and Bravo, and Just Booking Around. And I am Real Melz of Bravo, and Genevieve Melzer. That's my government name. That's the name they gave me. Okay, so we always start the pod with hot takes. So what is your hot take of the week?
Okay, before I say my hot take, I know my mic is like going in and out of the camera, so it's just floating out there today.
I like it.
Okay, so my hot take is now Real Housewives of London premiered on Bravo this week. Now,
Yes.
I say premiered, but I don't know that they're guaranteeing that they're going to continue showing this to us season after season because they're calling it a special presentation. And I did the Google. And Google says that means it's kind of a one-off. And I think Bravo did this with Real Housewives of Melbourne maybe years and years and years ago. They just kind of one-off. So I'm wondering if they're testing the waters. But my hot take is I think Bravo botched it up with Ladies of London. Somebody had messaged me and told me that the production team of Ladies of London is actually from the UK, and the production team for Real Housewives of London are Americans. So you can really tell with the quality of both shows. I think Ladies of London was a good show, but it's not this like crazy, wild, wealth, chaos that Housewives is. I watched the first episode of Real Housewives of London. Absolutely amazing. It looks like an American Housewives show. It really does. So I think that Bravo really messed it up. They did their Ladies of London. Hayu's like, oh, we're going to take the franchise and we're going to do our show over there. Well, it turned out that Ladies of London was actually the better show.
Yeah.
And oopsie, Bravo.
But Bravo doesn't want to renew Ladies of London.
Well, yeah. Well, I would imagine if they're using a British production company, it's got to cost more than using American staff.
Yeah.
Right? If it's a
Yeah.
British company, you figure, I mean, I don't know what to figure, but I just assume it's going to cost more. And really, it was a good show, but it wasn't like this, like, bam, wow. Like London, Real Housewives of London was like watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
The delusion,
Yes.
the wealth, the glamour. And in London, like one of the most expensive cities in the entire world, we needed that instead of Ladies of London.
That makes a lot of sense. Just hearing that and watching the first episode of Real Housewives of London and then comparing it to Ladies of London, which I prefer Ladies of London, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know. I thought it was kind of like a slow burn. It
Yeah,
was more
and-
tasteful. This is very like, you blah, 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 blah. Like, it's airing things out right from the get-go, which is more Housewives. So it makes sense why the show is Ladies of London, I guess, and not Real Housewives of
Yeah, and I
London.
think Agnes Angus,
Yes.
I think she knew it. I think she knew, and she chose, I'm guessing she was offered both, but I think she knew Housewives of London would be the better hit than Ladies of London. It was good, but it was not Bravo level going to bring in the ratings good.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how how the Real Housewives of London goes.
Well, it doesn't seem like people watched it this week.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I didn't love it.
Really?
Yeah. I think maybe I need to watch a couple more episodes, but I mean, did like a few people, but a few people I was like, oh, here we go again. Just
The
meeting-
novelty of the chaos is gone for you.
I think it's meeting the new wives and them being like, I feel like every new housewife is like, I don't have a filter. I say I'm uncensored. And I'm like, okay, boring. Like, give me something I haven't seen 100,000 times.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I
Right.
see what, yes.
But I
do.
will I'll keep
Yeah,
watching.
there's not a ton on, like we've talked about, like
No,
you've
there's
said.
not. I know.
No.
I have said that. I'm very critical right now. My hot take of the week is about Kenny and Whitney. So my hot take is that the show has brought these two together. The show, because they got so much hate out by their coworkers. I feel like they got a lot of hate from the cast. and they got a lot of hate from the fandom. And I feel like that has pushed them together more, where they're now more in love than ever. They kind of, it's like, who do we turn to? Each other. You've been there for me. I feel like they've been on kind of a press tour with, like, they were on Watch What Happens Live. They really seemed like they loved each other on that show.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like,
yes.
like he has this big goofy smile on, and they seem so in love. And then you listen to them on the Vile Files, which we'll get to later. So I feel like they've been kind of, I think a reality show will either push you apart or pull you together. But is it real, or is it just because you were on the show and you had no one else?
Well, I think it's kind of like when you go through someone with someone else, when you go through something with another person, you just bond.
Yes.
So they have bonded through this. They have bonded with Lindsay attacking them. They have bonded through the process. Because I recently heard that even though Whitney was on The Bachelor, she was on Nick Viall's season.
Yeah.
She wasn't even on it very long.
Right. And
That's
so when they talked about how Jasmine had said that Whitney was the most fame hungry, and she was like, I was barely on the show.
Yeah.
It did seem a little, I was like, I don't get that fame hungry thing from her.
No, I think Jasmine just threw that out as like, let me just say a name I kind of know, and I have to answer this, so
Right.
I'll
And
put that
keep
out
it
there.
in the Bravo sphere. They love that. They're like, name someone who's on another show if you can. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she threw her out, and she knew her from Bachelor. I do think, like you said, like they do look more connected. And I would imagine, yes, like the trauma of going through a first season of a reality show, the trauma of going against Lindsay has bonded them together. Now, will the minions come after Whitney is the question. And what will that do? Will they come after her because of the fact that she's dating Kenny and kind of trying to claim things about Kenny being with other women, and that ends up being a wedge in their relationship?
Ooh, okay. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. And we'll be discussing them a little bit more. But first, we have to talk about Salt Lake City, because a lot went down this week. We're not even watching Salt Lake right now, but there have been two explosive news pieces that Angie K and her husband, Sean, are now separated after 27 years, and Whitney Rose and her husband, Justin, are now separated as well.
Which, how did the reunion end for Salt Lake? Wasn't there something Whitney alluded to with Justin, or maybe not alluded, flat out said?
She walked off and she was crying, and he comforted her, and she's like, I just don't want to lose this. And he's like, we're fine. We're okay. Because there was some speculation that there was trouble in paradise with those two. Yeah. And because I think that her failing business put a big strain on their relationship, because I think they lost like millions. I don't know if they lost millions, but I think they lost a lot of money, and it was her money and his money.
Well, because he wasn't working, right? Wasn't the fact that he was on the show, he lost his job?
Right. But then also they did that like MLM. They transformed her, right? Her Whitney Rose. And then so he was representing that then, I think.
Oof. It didn't end well. Well, it also sounded like maybe she liked to step out or some. Am I wrong with that? And maybe she's the one that wanted to leave. And so when she said, I don't want to lose this, maybe it was that she felt torn, that this isn't right for her, but she doesn't want to break everything up in her family.
I don't know, because I remember when her and Bronwyn had that conversation about like bringing someone in, and she didn't say that she had, but I don't know.
I remember thinking something like that, like, has she stepped out, or does she want to, or does she want to bring someone in? I just remember feeling like it was more on her if it ended, as opposed to Justin doing something. Right? Or no? I don't know where I'm getting that from.
I mean, that conversation was very
vague?
Yeah, it was kind of vague, but it was kind of more for Bronwyn. Bronwyn was being more open, so I can't really... I thought in
the reunion, Whitney said kind of something about that. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I just too much content.
I know.
Since that reunion.
I don't think that there was like, but I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Right?
Yeah. And the timing. So I saw something recently that said that Salt Lake City was actually in post-production. So they are done filming.
Oh.
When they're done filming is suddenly when the statements come out. So it had to have been caught on camera, because Angie K's and her husband's, that report said they had been separated for a while now, or maybe it was a couple months or weeks or something. Like it wasn't immediately. And that supposedly, I forgot his name, her
Sean.
husband, Sean, supposedly he was having an affair with somebody else.
Yeah, like somebody that he worked with.
Yeah, so
That
one of the
right?
salons, maybe. Like, what
I
happens to Lunatic Fringe?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And, there was lots of speculation that maybe, I don't know, that maybe they weren't doing well before either. And then, guess who has a lot to say about it is Meredith Marks and Lisa Barlow, because they both commented. Well, Meredith, you sent me the post, and
Yeah.
Meredith was like, basically like, karma gets you every time. And people that accuse you of certain things, actually it's happening to them, which was, I mean, it
That
is
was
very
that was
karmic.
yeah, it was nasty though. That
I
was
thought
that.
I loved it. I thought it
Yo,
was petty. I didn't think it was nasty. I
so
was
petty.
like,
But I
boop,
think
got
the
you.
the fact that it played out on social media when we're not watching the season, that's more of why I found it petty. Like if we're in the middle of the
Oh,
season, they're at the reunion, they're discussing it, and she says, "Oh, well, you came at me with that, and it turns out you're the one." But it's just kind of playing out in the news. Whitney and Angie haven't made a comment or said anything, and then Meredith just throws out a thread like that. That I didn't like. That was tasteless. Lisa at least was a little more cryptic, like Vita for life with her and John in a picture.
partners in it
Partners.
all.
Yeah, it's like that was good. I thought that was a nice petty way to do it. I loved that. But Meredith's whole thread, I don't know. I just felt like that was not necessarily, but it's also Meredith, and I'm not the hugest Meredith fan.
Oh, well, see, I liked it, and I am a Meredith fan. And so I was like, oh, yes, this is why I love this cast, because they are, if the situation was reversed, Angie K and Whitney would have probably both jumped on social to be like, we told you so.
When
That's my
Angie,
Whitney.
I feel like I love Angie. She doesn't really do a lot of
I
wrong.
know. Watch out, because the
I
fandom's
know.
coming for her. Because
Oh, for
if you're
sure.
loved for this long, be careful. Your days are numbered at the top, because there's always a
Oh, for sure.
downfall,
Wait,
right?
has she always, since she's been on, been so loved?
I don't think so. I don't think like people really cared about her, and then she kind of
Oh.
catapulted to the top.
Well, I think that wife swap episode really helped her. She
And
came
her,
off
yeah,
really
her
good in that
friendship with
episode.
Mary had
Yes, that
definitely.
too. That too.
Right, that definitely made her go up in a lot of people's books. Did you see Jack Barlow also commented, and he wrote Lisa and John, and then like the strong emoji and the goat emoji.
But
So,
again, be careful with these things,
yeah,
right? It's like
yes.
the vow renewals. You don't want to do a renewal on a housewife show. So
Don't
kiss the
do it.
dad.
Kiss of death.
No.
Yeah,
Don't ever
no.
come in strong on how great you are, especially because Lisa and John didn't look great last season.
No, I know. And so I thought that was very interesting, the fact that Lisa and John were at a hard place last season, but maybe they've gotten over that. When these other couples, I mean, it was probably a shock to Angie K if she found out he was cheating
Yeah.
on her.
Yeah.
That's
For
not like
sure.
we've been having problems. That's more like, oh, wait, what? That's.
I mean, that could be a we never really discuss our problems. They work together. That's not easy on a relationship.
Mm-mm,
They work
no.
together, live together, they're married. They've always had that business. So it could be that things were just kind of skirted under the rug. Nobody ever acknowledged anything. And then suddenly he's not getting his needs met. So he goes off and she's just
Yeah.
shocked because she's like,
Yeah.
well, I didn't know something was wrong. Well, because nothing was discussed. Whereas Lisa and John on the other side, they are discussing it. We're thinking, oh no, is their marriage going to last? When it's like, no, our marriage is never going to end. We're having a rough time. We're going to work through it because one thing we do know is we want to stay in our relationship.
Right. And I think the wife swap episode was actually very eye-opening into her life, because remember, she like cleans all the time. So she's like always
Yes.
cleaning, and Electra and Sean wanted her to hang out with them more, and she was always like cleaning or doing
Yeah.
something, right? Like, so, and she learned in the episode, at least she said that, she wanted to spend more time with them. So, I mean, I wonder if also the fame.
Well, I was going to say with the cleaning part, like you wonder if there's some OCD in there. And those OCD thoughts and the need to clean and to
Hmm.
organize and to have control will take over to the point where you forget that those relationships are there and they need you because in your mind and the way your mind is working is, I need the order, I need the clean, I need the order, I need the clean. I can't do anything till it's done. Whereas they're like, we don't need it so clean. Let's just
Right.
hang out. But in your mind, it has to be that way before I can relax. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
hard battle that sometimes you don't even know that you need to go conquer it and get help.
Oh, yeah. No, that's like such a good point because that does sound like something like if I was struggling with that, I would be like, okay, I think I need to talk to someone about
Yeah.
this because this isn't good and it's preventing me from doing other things because I have to have, I know because for me, that was completely foreign. I was like, cleaning? Why? She's cleaning her sunglasses again? Like, they're clean. Like everything was
I saw
spotless.
that and I was like, we have some troubles here. You were trying to control something. Because I have
Mm-hmm,
tendencies like that.
mm-hmm,
Well, I'll
mm-hmm.
obsessively put things in order and order. Like no, and I'll come home, I'm like, oh, nobody sees anything as messy. Whereas like, I know, like I don't have spots right there. Like that doesn't look there, that doesn't go there. And I know I need to put that in order in my mind. Like I can't relax till it's in order.
Wow.
You know, like I have those
Uh-huh.
tendencies, and that's why I say that. Like I'm very familiar with that. And it takes like other people in the house telling me, like, it's not a big deal. It's fine. It's just sit down. Like, oh, I didn't realize these things that are going in my head are affecting other people around me. Maybe that's why I connect to Angie.
I love that. I love that. Well, that will be a developing story. This week we also got two trailers. We got the House of Stassi trailer and we got the Real Housewives of New York trailer. Which one were you more excited about?
I think they're both good in
Hmm.
such different ways. I would say I'm like torn 50-50. I'm going to watch them both. If they were both on at the exact same time and I had to pick one that I had to watch first, I think I'm going House of Stassi.
Me too. Yeah, yeah.
I think it's because we know them. I want to see, and it's been years since we have seen Stassi on our screen. It's like I knew her. I listened to her podcast all the time. I feel like we watched her get with Bo after she was canceled off of Bravo. I still was on her Instagram. Oh, she's pregnant again. Oh, she's going to be on Taylor Strucker's podcast. Let me go listen to that because I was not paying for the Good, the Bad, the Bogey, or the Good, the Bad, the Baby, their podcast that they had on Patreon.
It was a paid
Oh, it
podcast.
still exists and it's paid. When she came back and started podcasting again, she did it as a paid one. So I followed that Instagram page. I was like, oh, she's pregnant again. I didn't read her books. But I do want to see, she's in that same house that we saw in Vanderpump Rules that she just bought her last season of the
Oh,
show. But yeah, I want to see the kid. I want to see what she's like as a mom around her children. Her sister is on it. Bo's sister is on it. Christina Kelly, which I love that she's still close to Christina Kelly. Katie, which it seems like her and Katie had a falling out, and Katie's gonna
yes.
come like I don't think anyone really gives it to it straight to Stassi except for Katie.
I agree. And that's why it's cool to see Katie back in that, with Stassi. And then in the trailer, I think the thing I was the most excited about was that there was this fight between Katie and Christina Kelly. And I had no idea that there was any beef there. And in the trailer, Christina's like, I was on a show for a season for you. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, while she was pregnant too, she was
Yeah,
on
I
that
wonder
show.
if Katie's claiming you stopped talking to me, but I also could see Christina as the type that she just disappears, one of those friends, like getting so consumed in her own world that she like take out pregnancy, like
Hmm.
not that, like not having a child, whatever. I just in general, I get the feeling that maybe she's close with Stassi, but other people, it's kind of like a Kourtney Kardashian. That's how I see her.
See, I got that from that fight. What was that? Katie wasn't giving Christina what Christina had given Katie. So she was like, because Katie was
Oh,
like, I was divorced and I was did it, and that's when Christina was like, I was on a show for you,
yeah.
and so I felt like it was like, oh, Christina's not getting like what she
So
wanted from
she's
Katie.
made.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is. I had no idea, and I always just thought that they were like still very good friends.
I see what you're saying. So it's probably going to be Christina saying, you just forgot about me. After we got off Vanderpump Rules, I never heard from you. You didn't check on
Right.
me
Or
after
like
I
you
had my
weren't there for
baby.
me when I was having a baby or I was going through this
But that
stuff.
is hard. I have to say,
Yeah.
like, when you are the one, even me who has kids, when a friend has a baby, it's hard to necessarily know what to be there for them. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you haven't had a child, it also is like, I don't want to bother them. I'm one of those people.
Right.
I don't want to bother them. Like, I know how hard it is in the early stages. Maybe I'm not going to reach out as much, but some people want to be reached out to. So then go reach out to Katie and say, hey, I haven't heard from you. What's going on?
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want to, like, oh, I hope I don't like wake the baby if I like text you, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, and also like, yeah, then you're not really going to have time to hang out with somebody who doesn't have a baby either because you have a baby,
Exactly. I'm
right? Like
what,
you don't want to hang out with me anymore.
No.
Like, I want to talk about Bravo. Like we're
Well,
going to
no,
talk about Housewives.
yeah, vice versa. Let's go out to a bar. Let's have a glass of wine. Oh,
Yeah.
you can't. Let's go to dinner. And it's like, oh, you can't. Because like now that my kids are older, I don't really want to go places where there's small children anymore. Like I
get that.
went through that, the noise,
Yeah.
the screaming. There was a time where, yes, it's fun, the craziness, get your kids out there and the craziness. But now I'm back to like pre-kids where I'm like, oh, there are children there. Like that's just not for me anymore. It's like I've had my fill. I don't want to hear it. So, and I could see Katie, she doesn't want children. So that's okay. Like I think it's okay to say that. Like I don't want children and maybe things that I'm with my boyfriend on tour. I can send a text, we can chat, but maybe it's going to be a little harder for us to get together and do things because our
Yeah.
worlds are just so different right now. And I think it's okay. People don't want to say that, but it is okay if you don't want to hang out with a little baby all the time.
I think that's okay too. And I think that, friendships shift and change. And they did Stassi and Katie even had a falling out. Maybe part of that was the fact that Stassi has kids and Katie doesn't. Katie doesn't want to have them or, had tried, but then didn't. And so a different stage in life. And then maybe they came together a little bit later. The kids are a little older at least, it's going to be a good time. Okay. What were your thoughts about the New York trailer?
New York looked good. I was really worried that we weren't really going to get much. It seems like these new people that they got are good. Carol, front and center. Is she a full time?
It seems like it.
It looked good. So they're going to bring up the files.
Yes.
Which I was curious if Bravo was going to do that. Like they want to touch that
Yeah,
because
I didn't think they would want to.
yeah, anything said could then be pulled into whatever's going on. I'm trying to remember. Like Erin, I don't know why I loved Erin at first, and now I just find her kind of insufferable.
Yes, agree.
Jessel, what happened? Like Jessel, there's something happening with Jessel. There's a
Yes.
billionaire on there. They're going to the billionaire's island, but then people are complaining. They did not show Sai's separation because we got news that Sai and her husband separated, but
We
they didn't
did.
talk about that at all. And I
No.
do want to know a little bit about that because remember when they first got together, there were rumors that he was married and she got like
Yeah.
what? So like. Surely someone's gonna give her the karma card, right? Or say,
Right, like-
throw the karma card.
Or like,
It
you lose them how you get them.
Yes, it looked good. And the new people, the one who was dating the John Gosselin back in the day, she looks like a hot mess.
I like her. She was like I was like, who is that? She doesn't look anything like she used to.
No,
I
well,
was
isn't her
like, who
father a
is
plastic
that?
surgeon, or am I wrong?
What?
Is her father a plastic surgeon, or am I wrong in
Oh,
that?
maybe. Because
How old is she?
I couldn't tell. I was like, who is this girl? I like her. I'm like, I don't know her name. I have no idea who she is. I was like, I don't remember her being listed in the cast, but I was like, I like the energy she's bringing. I also enjoyed the fact that Sai and Aaron are going to be fighting.
But remember was the cheese thing with Aaron? Yes, the very first season when there wasn't any cheese, they clashed. And typically, like how you start, that chemistry of when you first meet someone is still there, right? Like if
Yeah.
you don't like someone, they were very different. I did not see those two as friends. So yes, let's see some clashing. Who is Jessel going to be friends with?
I don't
Maybe
know.
the billionaire girl?
Maybe. Yeah. Because maybe the billionaire girl seems a little bit younger and maybe
Yes.
they're like the same age, so they'll click.
Well, I think Jessel mentally is a little younger than the others. No, maturity wise, she seems a little younger than like Erin or Sai, but I think they're the same age. I think Erin is late 30s.
Yeah, I think I think they're young.
Yeah.
They're young. So then we have Carol, who's on the opposite side of the spectrum.
That's what's weird. I will say I did pick that up in that short trailer that she's much older than the others, and it is very obvious. She does reference her, I have 5 summers left.
Yes.
I do think if they wanted her back because of how well the JFK Jr. Hulu FX series did
Mm-hmm.
back in the fall, like it was huge. Her book, what was it, New York Times bestseller again?
Oh,
It was ranking
really?
high. Around the time of that show, it was ranking very high. That show came out around the time of BravoCon, and I think part of her resurgence was because of that show and how much attention it got, and that's how maybe she got pulled on because she doesn't look like she fits in.
And it looks like they do talk about that too, because she said in the preview, the trailer, she said, everyone's like, America's love story is my horror story,
Yes.
right? So it looks like
Yeah.
she is going to talk about John and Carolyn, which is really sad. I'm like, oh my
It's sad.
gosh, right?
Yeah, it's her life. It's what they know about her, and she wrote a book on it. So
Yeah.
you did put it out there and you put your story out there. So, and with the show being popular and everyone talking about it again, unfortunately, it does bring it up because I want to say there were a lot of posts at the time when that show came out, not to like go off topic of Bravo, but there were a lot of posts saying like, yes, the JFK Jr., everyone's fascinated by it now,
Hmm.
90s style. But for the people who went through it, for them, it is horrible right now because they are living through it again.
Yeah.
So it is good that she touches on that, right?
I agree. And probably when they were filming this, that was going down.
Oh, right.
Right. We want to hear from you. Are you excited that New York is coming back? Will you be watching? And I have to tell you that you texted me and you were like, oh my God, the New York trailer is so good. And then my other friend texted me who also watches Bravo and she said, oh my God, it looks so bad. So I was like, oh, well, let me watch
Let's
this and
see.
see like what I'm like, why is
Yeah.
she saying it's good and why is she saying it looks terrible? So yeah, I guess it's all eye of the beholder,
Yeah, yeah, I
right?
guess. I feel like people have been pretty excited online. I haven't heard too many. I think everyone thought it was going to be a dud.
Yeah.
So maybe the trailer, the editing was good to make it flashy and show lots of fights and arguments. And I think importantly is that they have a big cast. I feel
Yeah.
like
And
what
I
we've,
think that that combination, it seems to be working at least on Atlanta of like some people we know and some newbies and mixing them. That seems to be that works sometimes. So
yeah, no, I think
we right? Yeah.
Magic Sauce worked on the Valley so well.
Oh yeah.
Right? In the city, mixing the older ones with the new. I think that's what they need to do.
Speaking of the Valley, you were watching Kristen on Watch What Happens Live, and now what was she saying?
Oh, okay. So she has gone hard in defending Danny and Nia. I mean, hard. And so on Watch What Happens Live, Andy asks her, watching the show back, do you still condone what Danny's behaviors on the show and the way he speaks? And she goes, no, I do not. Because even in the after show, her and Nia are grouped together. She still defends them like blindly, which is
Hmm.
crazy. It was bringing up old Kristen because if you really look at the facts, it's like, how are you not empathetic to Janet? How are you not empathetic to what Lala is saying? Look how badly he's treating Nia. So for her to say that, she gained points back. Like I got worried that we had lost Kristen this season.
Mm.
But so I'm like, I've changed on Jen. I'm like, all right, Kristen, not Jen, on Kristen. I'm like, okay, Kristen, you're coming back to me. Like the empathy, because she also didn't believe Janet shared her story or kind of shared her story of her
Oh,
trauma. And
right.
she was kind of like to Schwartz, convenient timing. Now she wants to share her story, which is like, Kristen, with everything you've gone through with James Kennedy, other relationships, like how could you say that? So
Hmm.
Lala has a conversation. Like it was a nice conversation to see from back in the day, the screaming, the yelling, the hitting we saw on BPR. Lala just told Kristen like, hey, I can't get into specifics because it's not my story, but I feel like if you knew her story, you would be supportive and believe her that it happened. And Kristen's like, oh, and it
Oh, okay.
like realize like now some are saying she's just saying that for the cameras, but I want to believe that Kristen's going to support another woman who's coming out with the trauma she's had, so she's turning. But where does that stand for next year? Like, is she still going to support Nia through this? Will Nia allow her to support her if she's saying she doesn't condone Danny's behavior? Because
Right.
Nia does seem to condone his behavior.
I think that cast needs a shakeup.
I
A
agree. So
chop chop.
do you
Chop like
think
half of
it's
them.
Do you think the problem is Jax is gone? Like they could all unite against Jax, and now they can't seem to unite against Danny, and they're kind of floundering.
I'm not sure. I don't want Jax back. I know that for sure.
So there was a blind.
Yeah.
And not to cut you off, you're
No,
answering
you're
me
fine.
the question. There was a blind that said that this bar-based show is getting canceled, but something about someone getting a spinoff, and everyone thought it was Valley getting canceled and Jax getting a spinoff. I don't think that is happening at all. I heard that Valley had 18 episodes this season. I don't think you go from giving a show 18 episodes to then it getting canceled.
I think that blind is about Southern hospitality.
Okay, so wait, make it make sense for me.
Because this bar-based show, it's about Republic, is being canceled because Leva is like quitting. They're canceling the Republic part, and then they're going to pick who they want to bring back for a spinoff.
And we heard this week how TJ taking his Sir Wieners and going independent.
Yes.
Joe Bradley signed on to a different hospitality group.
Yeah, and that nobody has been given any contracts. Nobody has been asked back. And Leva has quit, or maybe she was fired. I don't know.
What happened there? Did not the last season not do well ratings wise?
I don't know, because I thought that show was kind of on a perpetual climb. Like more
That's
people
what
were
I
talking
thought.
about it, more people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think also people were upset that Leva was defending the girl Emmy, who was kind of. She was not somebody you need to defend. Very problematic, right?
Yeah.
And so I think maybe, I don't know. This
It
is all
just seems
speculation.
it just seems shocking that
I
she
agree.
was fired, not coming back. I just thought it was such a popular show. I watched it for the first time. And like you said, social media engagement, I didn't make any videos on it, so I can't, you would be able to answer that as far as engagement. But Threads commentary, I mean, there were always so many threads going on about it.
Oh, none of my content ever hit with that show.
Oh, that's usually a sign of how well shows do. Like
Yeah.
Ladies of London, nothing at all.
Yeah.
So that would make sense then. Maybe
Yeah.
the ratings were that low, which, wow.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I think that they try with these shows, right? These like junior shows. They try to get people to watch, but it just doesn't. I know. I feel like Threads is kind of a because it's so creators, so many creators, that I feel like it's not a good specimen because
I'm learning.
Right? It's just the creators kind of, or that's at least what you and I are seeing, I think.
Our algorithm is, yes, it's all
it's
creators
just
who
Bravo.
watch everything.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas TikTok is, even Instagram, your algorithm can be a bubble of only interacting with people who watch heavy Bravo.
Yes.
Where TikTok will really get an idea of what people are watching out there.
Exactly. Totally.
That's a great point.
Right. Okay, let's discuss that podcast that you listened to.
Oh, Biofiles. And I'll be honest,
Biofiles.
I was working when I listened to it. So
That's totally fine.
I wasn't close watching. Oh, you're disappearing like my mic. It's killing me. I'm watching my mic go in and out here. Oh gosh, I thought I found a position. It was nothing exciting. It was just more of the same of Kenny just being like, how do I scream back to a woman? How, like, if a woman is screaming at the reunion, if a woman is screaming with me, how am I able to defend myself? That it's not going to work.
Did you think she was screaming though?
She was, yeah, she was not
she's just
screaming,
Lindsay.
intense.
Right.
But is that
activated.
okay? Yeah, activated, intense, she was. But she wasn't, in my mind, like, it wasn't, she's getting, again, on Threads, she's getting so much love by the community. And I'm like, did we watch the same show? Because I just tend to watch things where I will look at both sides completely.
Yeah, me too.
And
I like to be objective.
Yes. I wasn't really picking up what Lindsay was trying to say. I work for women. Wait, what was the line?
Yeah.
What does
She was
that
like,
mean?
she's making money for women or something.
What does that mean?
Well,
Can I have my check?
Yeah, I think that I feel like maybe she was alluding to the fact that she has a daughter, so she's like raising women, she's making money for women.
Well, because
That's kind of
she's
what
a
I thought.
publicist, so
Yeah.
she's gonna roll with that. Okay, I'm gonna give my take. It's not gonna be popular about
Okay.
the whole Whitney and the mom card, and I actually feel bad for Whitney here. So Kenny and Lindsay are the hosts, and they talk about who's gonna get what room, picks, whatever. Then in the car on the way up there in separate cars, Amanda tells Georgina and Lindsay, "Oh, you ladies are single moms. You work so hard. You guys really should deserve the primary bedroom." Whereas Kenny's like, "Gosh, Yvonne and Georgina, or Yvonne and Nick, they had a horrible wedding dinner. We should offer them the primary suite." The two hosts don't talk, but that was the plan. They
Right.
get there. Lindsay and Georgina just run up and get the primary bedroom. So Kenny's like, you know what, guys, maybe we give it to, I thought maybe we can give it to Nick and Yvonne because whatever, their wedding. And then Lindsay, all it comes down to is the attitude Lindsay had when she said, well, we're going to take the primary bedroom because we're single moms. I think that was what upset Whitney. It wasn't the words used. It wasn't the single mom card. It was just, no, we're taking the room. I was assumed that Whitney kind of feels like Lindsay's acted like she has owned this show. Everything goes to her. And now she's saying that. Well, how does Whitney say that without breaking the fourth wall? Saying
Right.
like, I own the show. That's the card she's been pulling probably is I own. So she says she uses a single mom card because she hasn't used it before, but honestly, that is true. Yes, you're a single mom, but don't say I'm a single mom. I get the room to myself.
Right.
If,
And didn't I feel like when she said, we're moms, so we're going to take it. I don't think she said single moms, but Whitney then said single moms. So I think that like
but
triggered
even
Lindsay. And, I understand what you're saying though.
Yeah, I feel like that is what was the root of it, of her planning
Yeah.
it and saying it's her. Because really, at the end of the day, I'm not going to go somewhere with all my friends who don't have kids and say, I'm a mom. I'm a special needs mom, so I deserve the room. I would never say that. I would never expect someone to have a lesser room because I have a child and it was my decision to have a child and, they don't. And also, how many of them were trying to have a child at that time and weren't pregnant? So how nice was that to say? Right? Because we know like shortly after Yvonne gets pregnant, shortly after Lexi gets pregnant, we know Lexi and Andrea are trying to have a child to be like, well, I'm the mom. So that's not really fair either.
I think that you're right when I agree with you, but I can see both sides. And I think you're right when it comes to the fact of like, Lindsay's running this show. This is Lindsay's show. I think she convinced Bravo to even have this show, right? She like handpicked the cast. She helped like make this happen, right? And I think we have heard from someone who went to a summer house party that Lindsay runs this stuff. So Lindsay's running summer house. Lindsay 100% is running in the city. So yeah, Lindsay's been telling you whatever all season long. And now she's like, oh, and I'm taking the big room.
Yes.
And you're like, wait, but like, can anyone else say anything? Like, can I say that they deserve to have it? And so, yeah. I feel like that's probably what it was. But now you have a fight against Lindsay and you're not prepared for that because Lindsay has been doing this for 10 years and you just started and she's got the backups. So
But in the reunion, honestly, I felt that Kenny and Whitney were just more level-headed and clear and calm.
Yeah.
And Whitney saying, I've apologized. I don't know what more you want me to do. Well, I want you to apologize 5 more times. Well,
I think Lindsay was trying to make a moment and something memorable for the reunion, which I don't even think they deserved a reunion.
No, there wasn't much to discuss. How the first half of part 1 was talking about Amanda and West.
I know.
And that whole thing, which
I think that's the only reason they got a reunion is because Amanda and West, and we have to hear about that again, right? Which, okay, fine, but then it's 2 parts. Are you kidding me?
What is there else to talk about?
There's nothing. Amanda and Kyle again.
It's the Danielle stuff with Ian, which Ian didn't even talk. Ian didn't talk. Nick didn't talk.
Nope. Andrea said like one thing.
Prosciutto.
And he said that he sees the love between Kenny and Whitney. I thought that was nice.
Yes.
He did back them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that was nice. But but Georgina, she was like, I got something to say and I'm going to keep saying it.
When Jasmine had that question, who is the most fame hungry? Georgina, I think it's gone to her head a little bit. I liked her. Everybody liked her. They were the breakout. I did like a YouTube poll, like 200 votes. And like by far, Georgina was the most popular. Everyone who liked her. And I think they liked her because it was kind of an innocence, kind of this is just who I am.
Mm-hmm. Just raw, just real, whatever.
But she is following Lindsay's handbook on how to be a reality star. She's leaning way too far into it. These reality stars have got to lay off of Threads.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's really Lindsay goes the hardest. Kyle, and now Georgina like going into the comments, defending. Like, don't defend yourself before the show has even aired. Don't defend yourself over comments Queens of Bravo has made over a preview of your episode. Let us watch the episode, and if someone still holds on to that thought, then maybe respond. But that Queens of Bravo and Lindsay argument that came from a preview and is still going strong. Well, going strong, Lindsay's not talking about it. Queens is just going out of her way to not include Lindsay in any of their photos and to support Kenny 100%.
Which is, I just think you should not be in the comments if you are a reality star, because guess what? You're just going to be fighting till the death. You're never going to get anywhere. There's always going to be people that hate you. There's always going to be people who don't agree with you. And by being in the comments, you're just going to exhaust yourself.
I think there's a fine medium. Like, you don't want to be a Heather Dubrow that does not lower herself to the comments at all. Like, her stuff I feel so detached from. I feel like maybe it's just her personality is standoffish. I think a little bit here and there, like to where you're, oh, thank you so much, right? Like if someone puts something nice, like the top 3, like, thank you, appreciate that. Whereas like Heather, I don't think even goes into and responds to anything. Like I want to feel a little bit connected to you through social media, but not too much. But don't be standoffish.
I can't
figure that out, reality stars.
No, I mean, I'm rarely in the comments just because I'll see a mean one and then I'm like, oh man. And then, I like take that on. So it's hard because
I see what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. Like you're like, okay, oh nice, da. And then you're like, oh wait, oh, people hate me.
I think Jeff Lewis said that Andy had told him that at the very beginning. The one thing that you do not go in the comment, do not read Reddit. Because it's not going to go well.
No, poor Todd. Remember Brownwin's Todd, who went on Reddit and read everything about him? Never do that, Todd. No.
There is an influencer. Have you heard of Gomi? Get off my internet. So this webpage started like years and years and years ago when like bloggers were big and like influencers took off. It is just people shit talking on influencers. She's not really married to him anymore. They're actually divorced. I saw a photo of them here to get like, it is like influencers, like and influencers can be really big. I'm not talking about these big ones. I'm talking like starting at like 20, 30,000 that are just shilling stuff. I don't know if that website's really big anymore, but in my like early stay-at-home mom days when like the baby's sleeping, I'm like, okay, who are we talking about? I'm like I do not post. I would never, ever. I am not one of those that is going to go post something nasty about someone online. But it turns into its own reality show just reading it.
Oh, yeah, I bet it does.
Like reading Reddit.
Let's discuss Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes.
Shall we?
Okay, so let me tell you me watching it last night.
Okay.
So I was watching it like in pieces. I'm doing things around the house. And then I was like, I wasn't paying attention. So then I'm having to rewind it a little bit. And then somehow I'm like, wait, the episode's over now? Was this an hour? Was it me or was it completely just boring?
It was a mid-season or episode, right? It was just kind of like...
Round robin. They call it round robin, right? I think I heard that on
when
Jeff
it's
Lewis
like
once.
scene with you, a scene with you,
yes.
a scene with you.
But it was like Heather was barely in it. She was only in it to say that photo album was moldy like her childhood. So
I was like,
her dig to her mom. I guess
shots fired, Heather.
I guess that's her whole storyline. You said that, like her storyline is her mother.
I think that is. I know. And I have a couple takeaways that I wanted to ask you about. Again, I do not want your child to be your storyline. So the scene with Jen and her son, very raw, very real. But should we be there for that conversation?
So I wrote about this in my Substack, bravobravobooksandbravo.substack.com. I was writing exactly about this.
Yes. What did you say?
I think I put a clip of, or you put a clip of us talking, saying like kids shouldn't be a storyline. And one of the comments were like, yeah, but they had that in the early seasons of OC. I'm like, they did. And let's look at those kids now. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. Like Lori's son who's passed to a drug addiction.
He passed away.
And we saw him dealing with, like, she was in the courthouse because he was caught with drugs. Lynn's 2 children, who she heavily put them on. She heavily focused on the struggles they were having, had a family therapist come in. The younger daughter said, I need more rules and boundaries. They don't give me any. I don't even want to missay what's going on with her right now because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's not good. So that's why I support you and you saying children shouldn't be a storyline. Absolutely not, because her son got a ticket for going 100 whatever. He's something wasn't right. I didn't know if he doesn't know how to articulate Jen's son what he was feeling, or it was the cameras there, or both. He talks about his father's not there anymore, but his piece, it's like pieces of things. I couldn't tell if it was editing or I wasn't, well, I wasn't understanding fully what he was saying. People are making fun of him. What was your takeaway?
My takeaway was like, this kid's going through a really hard time. And a big piece of that is the fact that his parents aren't together anymore, right? And Jen was hoping that maybe that was over, that they had moved past that. And I'm like, I don't think a kid can move past that. I think that's something that they're going to be dealing with for a very, very long time.
Yes.
And then I think maybe also kids are being mean to him at school because he said, right? And then she starts crying, and then I'm sorry, but then he's comforting her.
I thought that too.
Her, and I was like, no, you need to be comforting him. He needs to be comforted right now. And then we know that things got worse because he started that fire.
That wasn't him.
It wasn't?
No, from what Katie Janela said.
I thought it was.
No, another minor son.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
sorry, kid. But
No,
because
but
I made a
that's-
video where I was like, and also he did this. But
Yeah,
that goes to show that
There's troubles at home.
The kids are going through a lot. And a lot of that, I think, is the fact that the husband, that you're not with each other anymore. And what's going on? Where is the husband?
I know. She said she had 100% custody, and I thought I read that somewhere, or Jen said at the reunion that she had all the kids full time. He clearly wants his father. So Ryan was correct.
I know. I was like, I can't believe I'm siding with Ryan in this episode. But I was like, yes, Jen, they want their dad. Where is he? Why isn't he there for them?
Well, and that's her guilt for
Yeah.
she initiated the divorce. She didn't want to be in that. So she's taking that on, that they want their father, and I took them away from their father.
I just felt like this is a scene we should not be here for.
No, like there's a way to acknowledge that you going through this divorce and everything is having an impact on your child and express it, but you don't need to go into specifics. You know, on Katie's podcast, Katie Janelle's podcast this week, and we talked about last week how she's like really going for Jen. This week, what she said was the day that fire happened, she puts out her Instagram story. The next day, she goes on vacation in Mexico, just her and Ryan and a bunch of friends on a yacht, and posts that she's out having a good time, when the day before her son starts a fire. So who's watching these kids while she the next day is now on vacation? So I don't know I am not judging. It could be he's having bonding time with his older brother. Like there's a brother who graduated from USC. But what is happening at home? I don't know. I'm coming off as judging, and I don't want to judge another mother at all.
No, I understand.
Katie judged her. I didn't. But
Right. Yeah. No, and I don't want to judge her either. I just was like, this is one of those scenes. And this happened last season. I can't remember with who it was, where another scene where we were like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here for this.
yes,
Right.
that was one of the most uncomfortable scenes with her son, because he just he had that awkward smile.
Yeah.
And also, like when you said how he was comforting his mom, maybe that is also a component of his relationship with his mother. Maybe he has always been, because she said he was the rock, right? Like the sweet person. And maybe he always played the role of the one she didn't have to worry about. And now that he's crying, that's probably hard for him, that he feels like he failed her, maybe because he is the one that always was the easy one. And now she's not. Now he is not. And he doesn't want to have to tell her that.
I feel like every season Jen is crying with one of her kids. Last season, it was with the one who went to the military. Yeah. And I think that was the scene last year that I was like, why? Like, we don't need to
But
see
that's
this.
her life. That's the thing about being
That's
on reality TV. Like, it's going to be about those 5 kids forever, because she's, the youngest is only about 13, not going to be out till 18. And then even at 18, like, are they going off and having the pattern of going to college, going independent? If they're struggling now, that may not be their pattern or their trajectory that they go on. But maybe, you know what? Maybe Ryan is the voice of reason.
Which is wacky, but I know because I was like, I'm siding with Ryan and she should listen to him. And then
But
also, we got to see Ryan's daughter, like a picture
yeah,
of her,
I had
and
heard about her.
it
Yeah.
sounded like he's a good
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah. And that's why he struggles because like how do you not want to be there for
Right,
your
right.
like remember last year the oldest son, his college loans, the second one that went into military, co-signed on his
Yeah,
loans?
yeah. And
Like what's going on with the father there? That is odd. Why would you ever? And even Jen was sharp enough and being like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
right, you're putting yourself on the line for that when actually you need to make sure that you can qualify for your stuff. You know what I mean? You don't need
But
to,
why? Do you? I don't under. If
yeah,
you can explain, like, I don't understand how that happened. The father have bad credit to where he had to put someone to like Jen couldn't co-sign that? I don't
maybe. I
understand how that
know.
worked.
It it must have been something like that, like dire straits. You know what I mean?
It had
For the
to.
that like that is very rare. But maybe, you're just you got to do what you got to do so that you can get
I guess
that.
so. And that's your brother, so of course
Right, you're not
you're
going to
gonna
say
do that for your brother,
no.
right? You don't even understand what a credit score is at 18.
No. What did you think about the Trace Amigas kind of making up?
Yeah, this is what people want to see, so let's
Right.
do it. But the thing is, Trace Amigas was so good because they were drinking and silly and crazy, but now Shannon can't drink about around Tamara because
That's
Tamara's going to
true.
call her drunk.
Yeah.
So it's just this awkward, we want to make money, we have to do this for the camera, so we're going to just say we're friends again.
Right. And then Tamara can't really drink in front of Shannon either because that right, like remember when Tamara said like she doesn't really drink anymore and then she drank a lot. So it's
Yes.
like, and then Vicky, she's trying to be neutral.
She is. So, I was just telling you before we started,
Yes.
Vicky is on Jeff Lewis Live, right? Like right now, like 11. And they're having Carmela and Jen are on the second hour. So I'll listen to it after we
Oh,
finish. They're in Orange County. But Vicky is late. So when she comes on, they start the show. Vicky's late. Apparently, Vicky was hacked last night. So she was on the phone with the FBI was up there. Her whole system, her work, so they were able to hack through her work system. So everything is
what?
shut down. She was crying. And before she came on, Shane said, so Vicky told us the last thing she wants to do right now is this podcast. It's a radio show. 10 minutes later, she does come on. She is like crying. She's scared. The FBI said, like, it starts small, it gets bigger and bigger to the point where they're holding you for ransom. And Jeff's like, they're going to kidnap you? He's like, that's what the FBI agent just told me. I'm like, oh my God. But she talked about Gina Keogh. So everyone is a
Oh,
buzz this week because Gina Keogh, her daughter made the GoFundMe and she's gotten a lot of backlash. People like you live in Orange County. Like, what do you need a GoFundMe? And I'm like,
right.
well, obviously she's in like financial trouble, like to go through.
Yeah.
She went home from the hospital or going to go home from the hospital today or something. She's a feeding tube right now. So it's pretty bad
Oh
because it's cancer on the
gosh.
tongue, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's
There's a
what the
spot in the
GoFundMe
tongue.
said. Yeah,
But
something.
she said Gina owns two properties in Florida that are supposed to be rental properties, but she's not making money off, barely making money
Mm,
off of it right now. And she rents and she's in a commission-based company. So if she's not working, she's not making money. She does have her ex-husband's pension. So I guess from what is it? MLB or
oh,
he's a
yeah.
baseball player,
That must be
right?
pretty good.
So, well, I guess not, because that's why she's doing the GoFundMe. She was very sweet. Like she was tearing up also talking about Gina,
Oh,
saying, which like you do feel bad. Like, I
yeah.
mean,
No,
what
and
do you do in that situation? Like you were wealthy at a time, but now you're
right.
not.
No, and like that's the thing with, because she's in real estate, right? And so that's kind of like one of those, when you work for yourself, you never know if it's going to be up or down. And you have, it's like that's just kind of how it goes with some
'Cause
businesses.
if she's not 65, then there's no Medicare. She
Right.
is just a working
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
They said she has health care. Well, then, yeah, like if you don't pay into long-term care, it's not like a major corporation where you have short-term disability.
Yeah.
You literally are not getting a regular paycheck. And then, I mean, you go through your savings and there's your entire savings.
No, literally. So yeah, I mean, don't be mean to that. She's,
No, like I feel bad for her. Like anyone could, that's the thing is like anyone could end up in that situation. Like,
Totally. No,
like that's the
literally.
biggest fear when you get older is to have a major health crisis. And even with health and even with Medicare, you have to buy a supplementary Medicare, like a second one.
No,
And
it's true. And like think of all of I think of Dorit the most. But think of,
oh
like once they're not on
gosh.
Housewives anymore, they don't have like a fallback career. They're just
Well,
hoping things work out.
that's why they were talking about Shannon on the show because they said they both
Oh.
told Shannon, you need to buy, you need to buy, you need to buy. But she wants to live in a specific zip code in like
Mm,
Newport or something. So
mm-hmm.
she rents and that she was getting child support from David, but that's not anymore. And then like she's not going to be on this job forever. I
But
worry about her too.
wait, how much is she getting from David a month though?
Nothing.
Remember? I thought she
Still,
was.
that's Sutton. Sutton's
No, because
gets
I
alimony.
thought
He gets
that
alimony? Is
yeah,
she?
well, remember in the court case, she calls, I think she calls Tamara and she says, I'm getting this much. I was going to be getting this much. It was a very big number, but maybe she's not getting it
Oh,
anymore.
I
But
thought it was
I
just
thought she
child
was
support.
getting, well, maybe it was just child support, but I thought she got alimony too.
Is
We have
that
to look in
in
on that.
California, is alimony something that is, or spousal support
Oh,
is
yes.
you
You
do
have
after
to
10
pay
years?
alimony and you will not, you pay that forever unless they remarry. So
Like
you're going to be
Sutton's
paying
never,
that
Sutton's got a
forever.
good,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
interesting.
We're gonna move on to the things
Yeah.
that we can't stop thinking
Okay.
about, but I have two of them.
Yeah. No, go.
So my one thing has to do with Real Housewives of Orange County is that Travis and Gina went to a restaurant and Travis said, I'll have the all you can eat mussels, which I
Gina
don't
said
think
me
that
too, right?
she said she'll have that too.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's something you want to have all you can eat of. I just thinking of
I
that.
don't eat
Me
shellfish. I don't
neither.
eat
And I'm just like,
squid.
like a couple, okay, but like, like yeah, another like, ugh. So
I
that
just feel
was
like don't eat. I need a starch. I'm a starch heavy eater. So are we dipping bread into the
we're dipping
sauce?
the bread in the
Okay.
sauce,
But do you have
but
to open the mussels? How do mussels work? They come in a big, I know
they're
from Top Chef.
open.
Oh, they're
They
open.
come open. So
Don't
you
you, but you
just
have to scoop it out.
and you
Like
eat
how
it.
much are you getting out of a scoop?
You're
Like a
get it's
teaspoon, a
like this.
tablespoon?
Yeah, it's very small,
It's a lot
as
of
big
work.
as
Maybe
my
they
eye.
feel like they're
It's
getting
just
some
and
bicep
it's
work.
like a weird little, bottom feeder. It's just that weird
Let's hope
little.
it's small. It's like Olive Garden. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
just.
Olive Garden has, I'm
I
not
was
getting the mussels at Olive Garden.
I was just like, oh, thank you, Gina.
Well,
Thank
I thought,
you.
where are they that it's all you can eat? Is this Orange County? Are we at Golden Corral? Like, what do you mean all you can eat?
I know. I was like, and it looked like a nice
It
place too,
did.
so I was
What
confused.
did he get to drink? I always need to
Oh
know what he eats
yes,
drink in a restaurant. I have to know. She had the hot water with lemon, and he said, I'll have that. And then I was wondering, does he drink?
that's
Or is
what I
he
was
so
wondering too. I said, oh, is he drinking with her, not drinking, which is fine too, but I just wanted to know.
Is everyone sober in reality TV? Vicky with her coffee. Vicky just seems very sober, like the last two episodes. Tamara too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm thinking of Ariana on Next Gen, but she's under probation, so she's like her sparkling water all the time. Is this the trend in reality TV? We're not drinking?
I feel like it is. I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's more like Kyle Richards. She's not drinking anymore. Lots of people. Yeah, I feel like, which I get it. We've seen a lot of real messy
We
reality because
have.
of the drinking.
Why
My,
is it such a statement too to make? Like
I don't,
Kyle made that
yeah.
Instagram post. It's been 4 years and I haven't had a drink, but I don't have a problem. But I haven't had a drink in I was telling you this, like sometimes like life just gets busy and like I haven't
Yeah.
had a drink in like months. I'm not making an Instagram post. I've been sober for
I
3
think
because life was busy with some
right. I
things.
think that for her, it is a bigger deal. It is like, I am sober. But instead of saying I don't have a problem, be like, I'm just so proud of myself that I'm not drinking for this long. I don't know. Just,
But it has to be a struggle to not drink to say that. Does that
yes.
make sense? Like for
Yeah.
me, it's not a struggle to not, I'm just not a big drinker.
Right.
I don't think like I need to go drink, so I'm not going to make a statement. If it's hard for you to do, I haven't had carbs in 2 years. I would make a post if I could do that. If I could go a week with no carbs, I would make a post. I'd be so proud of myself. Right?
Yes, yes. The other thing that I can't stop thinking about is destiny swapping. And Portia talked about it on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she was saying that Shamia wants to destiny swap with her, which is basically wanting your life and switching with the person. And I had a comment from my friend Tiffany on TikTok, and she said that that's a Nigerian term that's used in the community. And I was like, oh, well, I was excited. Was like, oh, what a cool term. Like, can't wait to use that now.
Okay, so if Portia is saying that Shamia's destiny swapping, is that not a little bit of proof of she didn't want Shamia on Housewives?
I do think that Portia did not want Shamia on Housewives, and I agree with Portia not wanting Shamia on Housewives because I don't think you need to mix your best friend with your work.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yes.
keep those things. I think Portia wanted to keep those things separate because she knows how it goes. And she knew that it was just a matter of time before something would happen.
Well, no, well, so saying that, well, she didn't want her on the show because she didn't want her coming for her life and her job and everything that's like, why do you need to we said this last week, right?
Right.
You have your stuff going on with the NBA and you're acting and singing. Don't come for my stuff. But isn't that what destiny swapping is? Coming for your stuff to take over your life? Because when I clipped, I think what we talked about last week, and I had people say, no, Portia never said that she didn't want Shamia to be a housewife. Even Andy agreed with Portia and said that Portia did want Shamia on. Andy said it and Portia said it. And I said, well, in my head, I'm like, well, they may have said that publicly, but what they really felt or what Portia really felt was she didn't want Shamia on.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what you can't stop thinking about?
Okay, mine is
week?
from the Valley this week. So Michelle went over to Jesse's house, her old house. The paperwork is fully signed for their divorce. They both signed. So now it's out in the courthouse just waiting for the judge to sign, but it is official. They can't go back. So they had an emotional moment. And Jesse says, oh, Schwartz gave me a bottle of champagne to toast for this occasion. If you feel inclined, like he was actually kind about it. If you feel inclined, if you want to toast to it. And she was like, okay, they were crying. They were emotional. Wow. It is kind of like, I wonder if Michelle is seeing Jesse as the person he used to be, because she wanted a divorce because she said he had changed. He is not the same person. And now that he's with Lacey, he is the person she met and married and fell in love with, maybe even better than that person. And it is so hard to watch that. Because also you may feel a little guilt, like when you're with me, like I couldn't bring that out of you. I couldn't make you happy, but some other woman can. So it was sad. You hope that it can stay cordial for the sake of Isabella and things are good. But it was a really touching moment to see.
And you're on a TV show with this person, which that normally doesn't happen when you divorce someone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Equal partners on a show
Yeah,
or equal castmates as opposed to housewives. They don't have to film unless another housewife decides to bring them on, like Drew with what's his name?
Ralph in the basement.
Yeah.
He's like,
no, with Portia's ex. Like,
Dennis.
Dennis
the
or
hot dog
Shamia
guy.
being friends with Dennis.
I know. I'm like, Our rapid fire this week is Real Housewives of Orange County. What would you rather? Would you rather receive a late night text from Tamra or a voice memo from Shannon?
Late night message from Tamra, because it's going to be like, I just took my Vina, I'm going to bed.
Would you rather have...
Wait, tell yours.
Oh,
I like to hear yours.
I think I want the Shannon voice memo.
It's going to be like 2 hours long.
It is. Would you rather have Gina give you dating advice or have Emily represent you in court?
Gina can just give me, because I don't have to listen. And wait, why am I dating? But she can give me advice. Yours.
Yeah, I'll take Gina because I don't want Emily representing me in court. I don't know what that would be like. Would you rather be on Heather's bad side or Tamra's bad side?
I'm going to go Heather's, because Tamra will go deep and pull out whatever, say it all, whereas Heather will only bring it out if you come for her.
Agreed. Yeah, like I don't know what Tamra's capable of. Would you rather have to survive a cast trip to Mexico or a reunion taping?
A reunion taping, because it's less than 24. I'm not spending the night. And those cast trips look brutal. The amount of filming and no sleep. And I will do a reunion like 8 hours. That's totally fine.
Really? I feel
Yes.
like I want to do the cast trip because the reunion,
They say those cast trips are horrendous. Like you
I
land
know.
in like Bali and then cameras are right there.
Oh
You're going
yeah.
to a
And you
dinner,
can't,
jet lag.
yeah, no nap, we're gonna go to sleep and
No.
then film the next day. It's like you gotta be on and you hate her. Who here do
Yeah.
you trust the least?
And then you're filming like breakfast, then you're doing a lunch, then you're doing an excursion, and then dinner, and then like on the Scotland trip with Atlanta. So they're at the dinner, Shamia walks out, and they're in a hotel. I'm like, how are they in a hotel? They're in the castle. Where's the
Yeah.
castle? All of the cast goes to that hotel, changes their glam, then goes out to the club. Like they have been awake for a long time. I can't do that.
It was
No,
a
no.
lot of outfit changes. I know I
It
wouldn't be able to
was.
do it either, but I don't know. I was just thinking like, ugh, then I have to prep for the reunion
I'll
and
be
then I
like
have to
Yolanda
like,
with her Lyme disease. She's like, I think I need to go. She didn't stay on the stage and film the whole time. Like, oh, I think my allergy, my cyanitis, however you say
oh
that, is acting
yeah.
up. My nose is so itchy. I gotta go.
That's a good idea. Well, thank you so much for being here and listening and following us. We are the Bravo Rundown. Follow us everywhere. We love that you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. And we will see you next week. Bye.